secondhand coat. I want a yacht, not a cheap little boat. I tell my daddy not to be depressed. All I need for happiness is the best. I want a diamond, nothing else has appeal. And when it comes to men, you know how I feel. I want a real man. Give me a real man, you know what I mean. I want a real man. Oh, real man, you're what I need.
Hey guys.
Oh.
Hey. They thought it'd be funny if I came out of the bathroom.
Yeah. Did you wash your hands?
Hey, welcome to Real Men. This is the show where men get real. I'm your host, Tim Steeves, and we're going to break it down. We're going to get down to what's really wrong today on Real Men, and we'll start by introducing the panel. How about that? Krista Sutton is here today. Hey, Krista.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning.
Nice job. You covered it there.
Yeah.
Very nice. And Noam Rosen is also here today. Nice to see you, Noam.
Hello, how are you, sir? Hello.
I'm fine, buddy. Good to see you. Chuck Byrn is also with us. Nice to see you, Chucky doll.
Good. Hi.
That's good, Chuck. That's plenty from you right now. And Jean Paul is also here. Hey, JP.
How are you?
And that's actually how we're going to get this first segment kicked off. We'll throw it over to that same Jean Paul for a commentary. Go ahead, man.
Men in marriage counseling. I don't think men need work on marriage skills per se. I think we need to learn how to speak up. Because as men, we're pretty much used to taking whatever criticisms that our women have to say about us, and we don't mind, because when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, we still got sex. When you get married, women tend to penalize you. And what I mean by penalize, I mean you're not getting any. That's what I'm talking about. So what we don't need help with is marriage. We need speaking up. Don't hold it against us, ladies, because we'll do and change whatever you want us to do as long as we keep getting it. And furthermore, we don't like marriage counseling because we don't want another person telling us how crap we are in our relationship. Tim?
Thanks, JP. It's just always about the penis with you, isn't it, JP? Grab some cushions and let's get down to this.
My middle name's Freud.
What do you think, Noam? Should every relationship be saved? What's the deal, man?
No, I'm a strong believer in people who shouldn't be together should just split up.
Giving up early? That's
Yeah,
what you believe
Get
in?
out early.
Bailing early.
You know, I'm proud of my parents for making the right decision and deciding that they should not be together when I was 8.
Yeah, and that had no ill effects on Noam. I can speak to that. What about you, Chuck?
You know, I think the idea of marriage counseling for a lot of guys means that they've gotten to a point where they can't deal with it themselves. And so they don't like the idea of that. Plus, I mean, marriage counseling is, I think, fundamentally about compromise. It's about finding somebody who's going to be able to, you're at two ends of an argument, and hopefully he's going to try and help you find some middle ground.
Unless one's just crazy.
Yeah, but it also means that you have to give up something. You know, if you go to the marriage counselor, you know going in, I'm going to have to do something different. You know, I'm going to have to start picking up socks. I'm going to have to wipe
I think
my
it
ass,
should be
you know,
that
it's-
anyway. I mean, I think it should be. I don't think marriage should be. Well, I don't think relationships in general should be my way and my way.
Yeah, jump in here, Krista. What do you
It
think?
should be
Some female
compromise.
perspective
I'm
on
just
this.
waiting to get the lay of the land.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that relationships definitely have kind of an ending point, whether that's 25 years or 40 years down the line, or if it's 2 years. And I think a lot of the times we are pushing it to stay together longer.
Well, now that we're living longer.
What's up?
Yeah.
See, I think women more so than men, and again, I always make the generalized statements, believe more in marriage than guys do. Guys figure, I could be with a woman for as long as, if we don't get married, I'm fine with that. But women, I think, fundamentally need to be married and
Well,
have the whole
apparently
production.
for you, marriage is all about penalizing. So,
No.
No, come on. Now, JP was just joking.
Yeah, what
I
I'm saying is, I
didn't
could be
really
with
mean
a
all
woman forever and not ever have to get married because I would feel the same way about that woman just because I get married.
Yeah, but what if you
doesn't-
are married and your marriage is heading south? You willing to go for counseling?
Where would you call it
I'd
quits?
rather try to do it myself.
No, like you said, like sometimes it's like we got to cash it in. To hell with it. Like when's that point come? You know?
Well, I mean, hopefully it should come before blood is drawn. And hopefully it should come before
Before the cops get there.
Before the cops. Hopefully days before the cops. But maybe even weeks or months, years, who knows?
I think it's shifting for women too, though, in terms of how important, I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking for myself and my friends.
Well, we're listening,
sister.
Krista.
But no, the whole idea of marriage is shifting. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being with a guy in a committed relationship without the ring and the picket fence and all that kind of thing. I think that it is shifting a little bit. And
As long as you know you're number one. As long as you know
Well,
that you're
yeah.
the number one girl.
though, that has to be
Sometimes, sometimes I
Yeah.
do think too, as well, women are more versed in dealing social skills and in dealing with problems and talking them through, because women have been talking about stuff since they were kids. Guys just do. Let's go out and have some fun. Let's go throw rocks. Let's go throw a ball. You don't really talk, but I mean, you still have that kind of bonding. So when you get into a relationship, women are so far past you in social skills that it's hard to keep up. And she's judging you on her. She's judging you on her social skills.
Maybe you're talking about yourself and not everybody. But that's okay. However you want to discuss it,
JP,
that's cool.
that's
I think
okay.
you're very eloquent.
That's fine, JP.
Have you known anybody to go to marriage counseling and have it work? I mean, am I slamming all
Well,
marriage
yeah,
It
counselors?
works well for the
You've
marriage
been married?
counselors.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up.
But did you go for counseling?
Yeah, of course. You do everything that that you can do so that you can say, I've done everything
But
that can be done.
what was his reaction, positive or negative, to the idea of counseling?
Well, positive.
I think
but
most
I mean,
guys
But
go
was it
kicking and
positive because he
screaming.
was putting on a brave face
How
for
did you convince
I think a
him,
lot of guys go to marriage counseling to shut their wife up.
Yeah, hold on, Krista.
they
How
think
did you
the marriage
convince him to go, Krista?
Yeah.
yeah, we just wanted to make sure we did everything possible to try and
Right.
stay together before we were going to leave. It was already
Yeah.
a done deal.
Foregone
The thing with
conclusion.
marriage counseling is, I guess sometimes you have people who want to work it out, and it's like, oh yeah, we really love each other. And then you sometimes have people who go, and it's like, the marriage counselor's just like, well, what? You guys hate each other. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, well, I got nothing here.
Yeah,
You
pack
got to
your
help
bags
me
and move
out,
on.
people.
But I think, like as a guy, I mean, I'd be
$1,000.
much. The only way
seconds,
the only
Chuck.
way I'd go for therapy is if it would be to make somebody else happy. All
Nicely
right, I'll go
said,
for
Chucky
couples.
Doll.
What about you?
That's
All right.
That's
You
all
were
our
being
time for our
penalized,
first
that's
segment.
why
When
you
we
did
come back, we're going to talk about career changes. And man, are we going to be joined by a dude who's had a career change? Lucas from the Naked News went from working at the bank to stripping and reading the news. So we'll talk to him when we come back. Are you married, sir?
I am. This beautiful lady right here.
You're doing all right.
Thank you. That shows that I'm a real man, doesn't it?
What advice do you have for a single guy at home that's trying to get hooked up like you are?
Well, I'm not sure if I can give that kind of advice on TV. Tell them to call me for a private lesson.
Big hand for the band. Welcome back to Real Men. This segment, we're going to talk about career changes, and we're joined by a very special guest, Lucas Tyler from the Naked News. How you doing, man?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. I mean, you were the best example of career change we found. Definitely.
So you'll be hard pressed to find another one. I'll tell you.
Definitely, and we'll get into that. But first, here's a commentary from Noam Rosen. Go ahead, Noam.
Okay, so career changes, right? So you do one thing and you spend a lot of time and effort, and then you completely decide to switch careers because maybe you don't like what you're doing in the first place. Now, why people have a problem with this, I have no idea. If you don't like your job, and please listen to me very carefully, quit your job. Get a new job. What's your problem? There's lots of jobs out there. There's a million of them. You can do anything. Well, you can't be an astronaut if you're like a midget, but you can do like lots of things. Well, maybe you could. I don't know. Why am I picking on midgets? I don't know. The point is that changing careers is a good thing. You should look at it that way. I used to do immunology. I used to own a comic book store. And look, now I'm acting. And frankly, acting is the easiest gig ever. You can all get agents, every single one of you. The best thing to do, bombard them with phone calls. Back to you, Tim.
Agents love that. Just call and call and call, eh, Noam, until they take you on? Is that the plan? And what about midgets in space? That could happen.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know. Let's move on. Lucas Tyler's here with us. Thanks for coming in, Lucas.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Lucas
Welcome,
is here.
welcome.
And Lucas, of course, the anchor on the Naked News. One of the anchors on Naked News.
On the male show, yeah. There's
Yeah.
a female show and a male
So
show.
yeah, male show, female show.
Yeah.
And
So by-
you want to tell us how'd you get the job? Where did you take us through it a little bit?
Well, actually, I saw an ad in the Toronto Star calling for Naked News anchors. And I'd heard of the show through the press before. And it's very professionally done and very tasteful. I figured, what the heck? I had taken some time off through my previous career. And
You used to be a banker? Is that
You like the new job?
You used to do banking?
I love the new job. And yeah, I was in the bank for 8 years. And, you know, the bank's not exactly conducive to a whole lot of creativity.
Or
No.
nudity.
Or nudity.
I
You
always
rarely
hate
get
it.
to strip down at the bank. I mean, let's be
But
honest.
being that I'm not a
Speak for yourself.
nudist or an exhibitionist, this whole career change was a complete 180-degree turn from
I guess so.
where I was.
You've got a big schlong. Come on. Can I say that?
I know, but not all guys. Not all guys.
Okay, if you didn't
He's
have a big,
they're
like,
gonna
okay, let me
beat-
ask you
they're
this.
gonna
Doesn't mean you have to
Hold
show
on,
it.
hold on.
Do you have-
JP, get in there, buddy.
Do you have a big penis?
www.nakednews.com. Check it out.
I don't want to see it. I'm just asking.
Well, hold on. Why don't we just stop right there? Steve in the booth, can we roll that clip? We got a little
Let's
clip.
roll the
We can,
clip, man.
JP, we'll satisfy your curiosity right now.
Wait, I'm getting a front row
See if we
seat.
can
He
roll
needs
that.
to know. He needs to know.
I don't need to know.
It's
I'm
the
just
Delhi
saying.
has repeatedly blamed Islamabad for supporting the insurgency into Kashmir. India's prime minister responded to the latest attack, saying, "As long as cross-border terrorism continues, we shall not have any talks with Pakistan." Iraq denied it had any links to the anthrax outbreak in the U.S. Nevertheless, Baghdad still refuses to allow the UN to inspect its weapons programs.
Ooh, and we're not going to inspect that weapons program right now.
Speaking of Baghdad.
Juncture. What did you think, Krista? Are you watching Naked News from now on?
How'd you like that Scud missile?
So by being the anchor of the news,
Seriously.
like,
Yeah,
whew,
you
I
should
got a
put
front
your
row
anchor
seat
down.
on that. That's good stuff. That's
your package
riveting.
is-
It's definitely
Guinea pig in
an
your
interesting gig, and it's so far gone from what I was doing before.
You know,
I guess.
I have to say
I don't
that.
no matter
think
what
so.
you were doing before, you're going to be pretty far gone doing that now.
That's amazing.
I wouldn't change anything. It's been an amazing experience.
Tell us about the audition process.
Well, they asked for shorts the first time, and being that I'm not a nudist or an exhibitionist,
Come on, you got to be a little bit to be doing this. Not
I'm
at
telling
all?
you, I'm
I'd
not.
love
I'm
to
just,
see your headshots.
I'm just very comfortable with my body, and that's
Okay.
really all it takes is to have a little bit of self-confidence.
Right.
And they called.
You
for
waxing the chest?
No, I'm not very hairy at all.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's hard to not have self-confidence with such a large unit, but go on.
Well, it's not,
It's not, come on, let me come to Lucas's defense. It's not just about the
I have
unit
a
here,
huge
boys.
unit, and I am not
you notice
confident
it's
at all.
the guys
Guy's
that
got
are
abs, too.
transfixed with the unit.
No.
We haven't heard anything from
No, JP's obsessed.
lovely lady.
What I'm
Whoa,
saying
whoa.
is, he's making it sound like it was hard to go from the bank with what he had to being naked
Well,
in
it's
front
all
of
about
people,
your
women
skills.
watching the
It's
news.
about your
You know
skills.
his viewers aren't dudes.
You just wish you could
There's
take
a
that
lot,
pants off for a
there's a
living.
lot of viewers
10%
who are
are.
dudes, I'm
Let
sure.
the man speak.
There's a real mixture
Yeah,
in the
sure.
audience.
I
mean,
bet.
It's both men and
Oh,
women.
yeah.
You know what?
Krista, do you have any guests for or questions
Guests
for our
for-
guests?
So look, you're even
I'm a little
I'm
flustered.
freaked out too, man. I was standing closest to it.
So you start fully clothed,
It's
right?
like 3D.
Sometimes, just to mix it up. I'll
I mean,
start
Because
close.
it's good to mix
Does
it up.
what you're doing ever kind of does it ever add kind of an ironic spin to the news you're saying? I can't
Never.
think of an example, but you know.
Never, because what I do is the international news, and usually the top stories are pretty serious.
Yeah.
And so one has nothing to do with the other. It's strictly for visual effect.
Do the serious stories come before it comes out?
No, not really. We, you know,
As you
it's-
saw in the
it's-
clip, he was
it's-
talking Taliban and stuff, weapon systems, and you know,
It's-
down
yeah,
to
But
the
after
jockeys.
people have
Now-
heard
now
that
you're doing-
Bin
you're-
Laden hasn't been
It's the
blown
naked
up.
news. You know, we strip down the stories to the bare facts.
Chucky, what did you have there?
Well, you're doing this as a job now. How long do you think you're going to be doing this as a job? Are you going to move on to something else? Do you want to continue working in front of the camera? Or
I always looked at this, and one of the reasons I took this job was, in and of itself, it was a great opportunity and possibly a platform to something else.
stepping stone.
Yeah, stepping stone. The company, I liked what they were doing, I liked what they were producing, and I liked where they were going. So, to me, going forward, if it does lead to something, it's great. But I'd like to grow within the company as well.
Was it a question that you didn't like banking, or
No,
what was your career change?
I've always been a lot more adventurous and creative, and I found that the bank was kind of stifling. Although I enjoyed
hey,
my
the
job.
naked news ain't so stifling.
Don't get me wrong, I love money and I love the stock market. It's exciting, but
So what happens if like a story is really exciting, if you know what I mean, and you're on the air? Do they like cut?
Oh, JP, will you relax? We're gonna
I
throw
don't
to
know.
drinks.
I'm curious.
I can't
I don't
believe
know.
we're gonna throw to
The
commercial,
guy's
man.
on the naked news. And you're
Hold
asking
on,
about
Lucas.
banking.
Lucas, hang with us for another segment, man, because
All
this
right.
is interesting
I can
stuff.
kill
We're gonna
my
come back more with
heartbeat.
Lucas Tyler after this.
He's packing.
He's back. That's the whole thing. Hey, welcome back to Real Men. And we're having fun here today. We're visited by Lucas Tyler. He's dude on the Naked News.
Yes.
Unbelievable. That is, Krista's a big fan.
Yeah, well, you know.
Noam, you were making a point during the break, buddy. Pick it up there, will you?
Well, you know, I was just saying that in terms of career changes, our careers have a lot of similarities because I find that comedians who want to get into television are like table dancers who want to try to get into pornography.
Right.
It's a stepping thing. Yeah.
So that is a thing that makes careers very different. And you probably know, having switched your career.
Oh, yeah, there's no bigger switch I think that I can think of personally that I've ever heard of going from one.
But
thing
you
to
were lucky in that you got the voluntarily switch.
Yes, exactly.
You weren't booted out of your old job, which I think most people now that are dealing with the job change, it's because the company downsized. I went to the technical institute. I got my technical degree. I learned how to program. I got a job. The internet stocks all crashed. I lost my job. Now I'm trained for a job they don't need me for.
It's a perfect time for someone to really look at their life and reevaluate what they want to do.
Yeah, like gone are the days like for fathers, I guess, and grandfathers and mothers and grandmothers that went into a company, right out of school and were there for 20 years. Yeah. And now I remember my dad saying to me, you should change jobs every 4 years. Just keep changing it up and exploring new things.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something people should do. I mean, all of us here, I would imagine, have had career changes to do this, and this is way more glamorous. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think it's
glamorous on the outside.
No, I mean, like no, seriously, differentiating from moving from, say, as he did from banking, and then going to, I want to be a lawyer. I want to go into court and stuff like that.
Yeah, I worked in a lumber yard.
Well, what did you? You worked in a lumber yard.
But I mean, this is way more glamorous as far as becoming a professional athlete or an actor or a comedian or a TV host or whatever, than just going from a regular job to another regular job.
Yeah. And everybody's got friends in their lives who've been in these crappy jobs for years and years. As you said, just leave.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to watch somebody, and you can really tell with a lot of people, especially in service jobs, when they really don't like their job. They wish they were doing anything else except helping other people.
Any worries about getting into a rut on the naked news, or do you think you'll shut her down?
Easy.
It's such a creative program, and it's going so well that I don't. Going forward, it's a really bright future.
Could you see yourself doing it for quite a while?
For a little while.
Assuming that everything works fine? I mean,
for a little while. The show is constantly evolving, and my position within the show is evolving as well. So where I am in the future, where the show is in the future, is going to be very different from where it is today.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find you're more informed, or were you as informed about the news before?
I've always been informed. Being in investments, you really have to read up on the news and know what's going on in the world.
So you would recommend changing your career if you don't like it, then?
I absolutely would.
Noam's really upset about this.
But it's not. I mean, that's not a new message. It's really something that people have to take hold.
But I love it.
Yeah, people have to take hold of their lives, and do you want to be happy in what you do, or do you just want a paycheck?
I mean, I guess some people.
JP, how did your family take it when you decided to get into entertainment and stuff?
But as a West Indian, the Caribbean background is one of stability, and me changing to, especially to tell jokes. When my parents just freaked out. So you want to be an ass? So that's basically what it is. Like, yeah, I want to be an ass, Mom. Yes.
You've been calling me one for years.
But also, I mean, it's easy, kind of as middle class people to say, oh, I want to change my career, and I guess there would be lots of people out there saying, well, yeah, isn't that a luxury that you have? Because
it is a luxury, especially if you live in Toronto. Like if you live in a small town and you work at the one factory in that town, if you want to change your career, you got to pack up and leave.
Yeah, so I guess.
But like you were saying earlier, people in like those service industry jobs that are just horrible. They probably can't get any other jobs because they have no social skills.
The DMV is the perfect target because everybody has to deal with the DMV. But you look at the people there and you wonder. I mean, obviously, it's a job that nobody particularly clamors for. You don't grow up as a little boy, oh, please, can you get me a little cubicle for Christmas because I want to pretend I work at the DMV. That doesn't happen very
But when you're in the government, you're not going anywhere.
Send your cards and letters to Chuck Byrn.
Yeah, and while you're at it, send me my new driver's license because I haven't gotten that yet.
We were talking about emails. Have you gotten any emails that you've inspired some young career seeker? I'm sure you must have.
Yeah, a lot of people have written in about, good for you and way to make the change and way to get up and do something. A lot of people were talking about career change. A lot of people are very content with their job, and they'll leave their job and they'll complain about it, but they'll go back to it every single day.
Well, sorry, Luke. Sorry, guys. We're just out of time in this segment. Lucas, will you hang for the rest of the show? Just a couple more minutes. Sure, When we come back, we're going to talk more about career changes with Lucas. He does the naked news.
Security, too.
That's wild.
You can't
just wild.
You get a wife and 2 kids. You can't just leave your job.
Yeah, well, you could go for
Wow. Wow. Welcome back. Settle down, class. Welcome back to Real Men. During the break, Krista made a play to see Lucas's penis. How did you make out there, Krista?
Well, you know, I was trying and
I offered, and you know.
No, I think she's
refused.
kidding.
Check your
Because I
oil
think you
lamp.
called her bluff, Lucas, and she shut it down.
yeah, I'm gonna send my resume in. That's all I have to say.
Maybe it's time for a career change again.
We're always,
these fold
we're
out?
always looking for new people.
Oh, jeez.
Just checking.
You know, maybe I could do another career change, and you could have like sort of chubby Jewish guy reading the news.
Absolutely.
That could work, no?
Chubby
You
Jewish
could be Hanukkah
guy
Harry.
news.
Hanukkah
Harry.
You want to show us
Nice.
a little skin, Noam? A little audition right now?
There you go. That's all you're getting for free.
That's all for now. So there'd definitely be
Show
some
me the
makeup.
money.
Hey, Lucas? Lucas, looking at that forearm, you a little more makeup on the job?
A little bit, a little tan.
Wow.
Do you get painted up for the
No,
gig?
not at all.
Now,
not
do
at
you
all.
shave your own
No
unit?
touch-ups, really?
No. No, everything's what I have is
Everything's
just
natural.
What I was born with, yeah.
So how much
Right
of that
on.
is lighting?
How much is mirrors?
We work shadows well.
It's all mirrors and smoke. They got Copperfield on staff.
But when you make these big career changes, and it sounds like you'd recommend this to anybody, it's
would.
a lot of the times it is going from banking to the big dream job. I'm going to go and finally be the astronaut I wanted to be, although maybe I'm too short,
Do you
according
think
to you.
people are doing that more now?
I definitely think so.
I think so. I think now
people are finally
everyone's-
saying this is, and maybe even more.
I think more people are
But
thinking
I think
money.
it's getting back to Noam's original
I think people
point.
think
Is
money.
I think
Thank
I
you,
think
Jeff.
people are realizing that if I'm not happy in my job, I should find something that will make me happy.
And you know what else?
Exactly.
Why do people not want to watch the news unless there's a naked person these days? Why is
Because
that?
there's a lot of news.
Well, given the
Everybody
option.
just watch the news.
Have you
Watch
ever
some
seen
more
Lloyd
news.
Robertson in his underwear?
Yes.
I don't even know. I am
That was a hell of a long weekend.
Sorry, Lloyd.
Oh.
I met him at the Geminis. That man is amazing.
Yeah, he's
That
a sweet
voice.
guy. That's why I'm attacking him for no
Yeah,
good
yeah.
reason. Hey, that's all the time we have on Real Men. Thanks so much, Lucas Tyler, for coming in.
Thanks very much for
Sharing
having
your
me.
story. That was really cool.
Yes,
Thanks to you for coming by. We'll see you next time.
What kind of name is Lloyd anyway?
Lloyd the Fake.
Can I get a big black dot?